Easter is the biggest festival of the Christian calendar, observed by nearly every major Christian denomination and marked by week-long observances of prayer and celebration. But when is Easter exactly? Most people know that it's somewhere here, but no one's sure. The ambiguity around the date of Easter is down to the fact that Easter is a movable feast. This means, unlike its more popular cousin Christmas, Easter does not have a fixed date on the calendar, but moves around between the 21st of March and the 25th of April. This might seem odd for the most important Christian festival to roam the months of March and April looking for a home, but there is a reason. A complicated reason involving popes and moons and painfully complex maths, but I'll try and simplify as best as I can. Let's start at the beginning and talk about what Easter is. Easter is the celebration of the death and resurrection of Jesus, and the early church wanted to make sure that the date they were celebrating Easter was the same date as the resurrection. The Romans didn't record the exact date of the crucifixion, and the only record the early church had to go by was from the biblical accounts, which recorded the crucifixion as occurring on the eve of Jewish Passover. Now, Passover occurred on the 15th day of the Jewish month and always coincided with the first full moon after the spring equinox. Thus, if the crucifixion was on the 14th, then the resurrection 3 days later was on the 16th. That should have been the end of it, with Christians celebrating Easter around the same time as Passover. However, no, things are a lot more complicated. While some early Christians used the Jewish calendar, many others in different parts of the world calculated Easter independently, and this led to Easter being celebrated at different times throughout Christendom. This mess couldn't last for long, and eventually the Pope called a council to sort things out. The method chosen for determining Easter was complicated to say the least, involving 2 lunisolar calendars, lots of maths, lots of arguments, and a big headache for me trying to explain this. Long story short, the council set out some rules for Easter and allows us to answer our opening question: when is Easter? Short answer, it's on a Sunday. Which Sunday, you might ask? It's the first Sunday after the first full moon in spring. Okay, when is spring? Come on, guy, I thought this was going to be less vague, not more. Alright, spring is kind of a vague definition, but for all intents and purposes, spring starts on the spring equinox, which is the 21st of March. Okay then, so what date is Easter? Easter can be any given Sunday between the 21st of March and the 25th of April. And that is simplifying things. The lunisolar calendar does a huge amount of work doing long-term predictions for the date of Easter. Now, you might think it's unnecessary to know the dates going forward. Why not just wait for the first full moon after the 21st of March and call it there? Easter, however, is preceded by the season of Lent, which is 40 days of fasting and prayer in preparation for Easter. The start of Lent is Ash Wednesday, and its beginning is tied to the date of Easter being 47 days prior to it. And thus, we need to know this date well in advance to calculate it correctly. If you're still disgruntled about this video not telling you the exact date for Easter this year, well then don't worry. It's all been worked out by some very clever people for the next several hundred years, so you, dear viewer, can know when Ash Wednesday and Easter Sunday is for the rest of your life and beyond. I hope you've enjoyed this video on the date of Easter by me, Ronan Maher, and if you'd like to see more videos, make sure to check out my channel and like and subscribe. Also follow on Twitter to get more recent updates. Thank you very much. I'll see you again soon. Okay, so there's one more complication to the calculating thing of Easter. Orthodox churches, while using the same method of calculating the date of Easter, i.e. the first full moon in spring, they use the old Julian calendar to reckon what day it's on. And most Western churches use the Gregorian calendar, and as a result, Eastern and Western Easter tend to be on different dates, with Eastern Easter even stretching into May, though sometimes the two do occur simultaneously.